Alright, so here we are. Where our new adventure begins. We've just left the hotel we've stayed at for the last 2 nights. And we are headed off on a 3.5 hour trek to another part of Ghana. So we will get to see where, unfortunately, some slaves were incarcerated way back when. We will learn some more of the history of this country and the experiences that they have had. So we're off to our second full day of learning more about Ghana. So we have left the main city area and we're now on one of the main highways, we were told, that was established under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and this connects Ghana to other African countries. So we're headed to Cape Coast, region of Ghana, and we're told this road is pretty much a straight shot, so we'll be on this highway for some time to get us there. 3-hour plus drive. So moving along, looking like any other modern highway, but the roads within Ghana proper we have found to be pretty tight and so on, but we have now gotten onto a highway and moving along at a nice clip.
Actually, it's a rock mountain, so they can't get rid of the rock mountain just like that, and they have been trying to blast it. It's causing a lot of things on that side. People lost their lives through the dynamite blasting. Some lost their homes and some lost their shops as well. So I think because of that, they've put that on hold. They are trying to find out the best possible way to get the rocks out of the way so that they can finish up with the construction.
Yeah, because I mean, in the dark, you can't see like the different places that you've slowed down to avoid bumps or separations in the road. I would think that you can't see those in the dark.
So the only thing you can use when you are driving in the dark is when you see a headlight, then you know there is a car approaching. So you move aside, right? The car passes.
And if a car is in front of you, if you see a dip, then you know that there's a car.
Exactly.
But if you're the first car,
then you have to face all those things.
Yeah.
After one of the most interesting drives I have ever had, briefly were on some smooth road, but now we are returning to this under construction section of the N1. Absolutely amazing. Alright, so we're about halfway on our trip up to Cape Coast. And we are.
Can you take camera?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
It's just small.
Yeah, it is tiny.
Yes.
May I take your picture?
No.
Okay.
Thank
The-
you.
You're welcome. So we're here about halfway on our way to Cape Coast, and we are just taking a quick stop, go use the restroom, and go to pick up a quick snack. And we still have about an hour and a half to go. The road that we were on, the N1, was truly amazing. It's under construction, and it is it's the most interesting ride I've ever had. The road is rough, it's unpaved, it's under construction, but it is still in use. And you know, I think it'll be fantastic once it's finished, but that could be many years from now. But that's okay. You know, we're making progress. So just kind of hanging out and continuing on soon.
There's a lot to see. And this is just a private road. Actually meets the roundabout where you can actually have a look at the animals and the three men. So during every festival, they go there to pray, and then they go to the museum where they were buried to offer prayers as well and pour libation. And those are the three gentlemen that serve as intermediary between the people and the ancestors. So we have the girls and the camel and the dolphin. original things that they actually have to be sold is not their part. It's the black one. It's the last part. So that is where they are doing now.
Okay, I'll go. So basically, we are at the Slave River. If you have visited during the rainy season, everywhere will be flooded. It looks very scary because it has a very strong current. Many people that were captured to come in here to bathe in this river were captured from the interior. So they never knew how to swim. So when they brought them in here, majority of them died in this river. Those that died in this river, there was few bodies that were retrieved. And those bodies that were retrieved were those that were buried right behind where the black demarcation. So that area is called the Bamboo Cemetery. Now when they landed in here, after bathing them in this river, the river we are seeing today, when you look at the color, you can see it's two different rivers. That river is clearer, and that river is not. This is the non-considered slave river. Because when it's flat, it's very stagnant. But when all flat, you cannot cross this river because of the cash current, the cash flow. So they bathed them in this river before they sold and they burned it. Now when you come in here, for today, as my energy is already gone, I'm going to give you something to do for me before I go. Do you have a corner meal? That's right. Because I'm watching. You have a corner here? Yeah, yesterday I did. I thought from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. And that was a bonfire setting in there. And after that, I just changed and I'm here again. So. This guy, take it. More coins. No coins, I'm more this guy, this way.
Thank you.
More coins. So what we're going to do is this. Whenever we come in here, everything we see in this river will always come to pass. I've been here for the past 10 years as the priest of this river. If I open the testimony books for you, there's so much more. Whenever we come in here, it's a prayer said on the coin. And whatever brought you back here. Thank your ancestors. I'm sure your greatest wish would have been to be able to see the face of your first ancestor. So you could ask them, where are you coming from? It's very possible in here on this land with the river. The river has given many people visions and trance and revelations, and they now know where they are coming from. It's about you. Whatever it is that is your need, put it on it. When you get to the river, touch it, speak it to it, and just throw the coin in the river. After that, we're going to go back. There's more to talk about. I'm sorry for more coins. I'm not going to. Where? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to make some of the. Say your wishes in the letter and then drop it for them later. Please use where you feel. It's all yours now.
So you can text it over?
Yes, and you can find
Excuse me.
While you wash, just check the gold there. Adi Galansin do I? If you want to stand in it or something, you can come over here.
Let me help you with your bag. Thank you. You're also going in?
I am not. Well, that looks like there's a slope.
Fresh from a town. Some from a town can I mean chicken. So it's inside through to that side. Have you captured the gold? Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I think it's more on that side.
The brothers retired.
You've been working since 11 p.m. And
Yes, manager.
Would the bamboo have been here?
by them.
So the bamboo have a very interesting story around it. Some would say it's a myth, but others will believe in it. According to the priest of this community, everywhere the bamboo is, we have people that were buried alive over there. And those that are buried alive over there, they believe that this place was not a place that have bamboos, but they believe it's a spiritual thing, that the bamboo serve as a tube for those that are buried, just for them to have a little oxygen before they die. So we treat this bamboo, I treat this bamboo with the respect that I would accord you, the same way I could accord this bamboo. That's how it works. But it cannot be here for, it keeps breaking, coming again. Yes. But the base, like the root, has been here for almost so long a time.
You come and hear you. So that's why what happened is that when we came, we had and they had tried to use him. We had the honor of that.
That is why we don't want to disturb the peace of this river, because this is the day of the river. And that is why when I came in here, I never wanted us to talk so much, and I was in a rush for us to leave. We should allow the river to rest on a day. I'm a mister. I'm because you don't know that crowd. And I'm a mister. Somebody that consoles.
And is that part of the Ochi?
It's part of, it's connected to the
Ochi.
Yes. The permission.
Okay.
Okay, so please come over, let me show you something.
Okay. So.
So, when the captives came in here, in order for them to take their last bath, many of them came during the rainy season. So when they came over in here to bathe in this river, they realized that many of the captives were committing suicide in this river. They never knew why they were committing suicide in this river until the dry season when they came over. And they realized that the water level, that one part of the river is rocky and one part of the river is sandy. So because of that, they traced these two rivers to see where the sources of these rivers are coming from. And they realized that this river is getting the source from the community. And the other river, Amistad, is getting the source from the Pura River. So they use that non-consume because when it gets flooded, it is very still, stagnant and gentle. It doesn't move. So because of that, it's easier to monitor the movements of the captives in this river than in that river. So today, the people of this community treat this river with all the respect. We don't want to even touch the energies of this river. So when we come back to visit our ancestors in this river, we don't go through the non-consume, but we go through the Amistad. The non-consume is the male version, and the Amistad is the female version. So we go through the female version so that we could have everything set to the female version, and the female will also know how to talk to the male version. And that is why we never went through this act. So this is the importance of this river. Nobody touches it, just let it be. It keeps reminding me what to say, because I'm also looking at how tired I am. And mom keeps telling me, do it. This is basically where they have their first branded after they were sold. The metal was put in the fire to stab their back, their chest or their shoulder as a source of identification. It was on the same ground that they were bought. And after that, they were made to walk all the way to the dungeons. But today, many people have occupied this community, just like I said previously. That those that occupy this community were those of the enslaved Africans who managed to escape. So whilst we're going to go, the communities have come closer, and now they are trying to even come closer to this place. But the chiefs will never allow, because this is a sacred space. So we go in there, there's something I'll tell you the question.
How far is the walk from here to the slave dungeon?
From here to Cape Coast was 37 miles. From here to Elmina was 42, and from here to Fort Amsterdam was 58 miles. They have to add it to whatever miles they already want.
That was where they were auctioned off. So they were branded here.
And they were auctioned. So after bathing them in this river, they came over to stand right here for the sun to shine on them, for them to dry. After drying, somebody will come to buy you. They were bought with things that were not important, like this screw, tobacco, guns, gunpowder, what have you. Palm oil and stuff.
To make them look
They use palm oil. They smear them with palm oil and shabbat to look good. And after that, they were branded. They were sold. So when I buy you, everyone needs to know you are mine, and that depends on the alphabet or the symbol I put on you. And this was basically a big trade. So we have so many companies that were coming. So the company came with their stamp, and their stamp was the symbol that they will use on you as branding. And after that, if you were branded, you know which exact dungeons you need to be taken to. That's how it works. Have you tasted cocoa before?
Yes. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean.
I'll be visiting this year.
Oh, excellent. I hope you have a good time.
Yeah, I will have it.
Yes. Yes, coconut. Yes. Still around our savannah. Guy with the machete, he'll cut it. You drink the water, then you cut it open, you get the juice, the jelly.
And they say about 2 or 3 of this is equivalent to 1 pint of drip at the hospital. So when you take coconut in the morning, it's very refreshing. It can keep you till you're ready to. So I wanted to explain a little more about the river. He said they had 2 different types. We have the Don Consu, that is the slave river. Don means slave, so Don Consu. And then we have the Amemisa. Amemisa is just a name of a Saturday born Ama. And then the Emisa is someone who can console. So Ama Emisa. So today is the sole day of the river. That is why he didn't want us to really disturb it more. Yeah. Which makes more sense. That is one of the different things the families they were using. not only people here, but the people in the Volta region use whenever they saw enemies approaching them. There's a particular one, and I'll look for it and show you. Anytime you touch it, it closes. Okay, yes, with that, when they're outside their homes and they see that it has closed, they realize that someone has
been there. Yes.
So then they become very cautious of their environment and they stay indoors, preparing to strike at anyone that is out there. So I'm still looking for that particular plant here.
Looks like that. It sort of looks like this.
That, but then it's much smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller.
Yes. So they intentionally planted those things and then by the path so that when you are walking and you touch it, it closes and it takes a while for it to open back. So it actually bought them time to prepare.
So you know this, it's called the mimosa. Yes, and you know during the slave trade, our ancestors used it as a silent motion sensor in order for them to check if intruders were coming closer to their space. So they planted it along the line around their caves, there where they were hiding. So when the people were coming over and they walked through this plant, it shrinks. And when it shrinks, which means there have been a movement around them. So when it's fully open, they know it's safer for them to come out. So this similar plant played a role in Louisiana, US of A. It played a role with the Maroons of Jamaica. And this is the same plant that saved many of us. Ironically, in the US of A, this same plant became a drink, and you call it the mimosa.
Have it in Louisiana, Alabama.
Okay, so when you wash your feet, you come over, I'm going to tell you about it over there. That's Rasi. We use it to take negative energies off. So when you wash your feet with this, all negative energies will be taken off.
The water is pure. It's they put some herbal
That particular plant is also used by the people of the Ga people to ward off evil spirits and all that. It attracts good, things to you. So anytime there is a ceremony in the Ga community, they actually use this for cleansing to keep the positive system, spirits intact, and wards of evil spirits and omens that are surrounding you. Yeah.
That's all I have.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. He's going to tell us about the tubes and then we'll be done.
Oh, those blue. My yeah, that is so cool. Thank you. I got them in Colombia.
Samuel, me bye. Bamba be come on, sir. Baba come on.
Alrighty, so that was a very interesting visit, almost spiritual in nature. And then we've taken a fairly long ride now out to Cape Coast. And before we go to our next destination, we have stopped at the Lemon Lounge for some lunch, get a little refreshment, and then we will move on to our next area that we're going to visit, which may also be quite spiritual and enlightening as the continued history of Ghana. All right, see you. So our meal has arrived at the Lemon Lounge, and we pre-ordered the meal while we were driving over here. I got grilled tilapia and jollof rice. So we get here, and the meal comes out to the table, and I was not expecting what arrived. An entire tilapia fish, you know, head, tail, the whole thing, and a very large serving of dollop rice here. So I will attempt to dive in here with as much as I am able to consume, but I suspect that quite a bit of it will be left behind. But it is very tasty from what I have tried so far. And included with this is this chili sauce. It's a combination of a number of different ingredients, but I will say that it is very tasty as well and goes down very well with the fish. That includes ginger, garlic, onions, tomato paste, shrimp powder, and fish powder. Yes, and you know, while I would never know how to put all of that together and come up with something tasty, the end result is quite tasty. So I was not sure how that was going to go, but after a few minutes, a very tasty meal was reduced to, you know, well consumed. Fish was excellent, the dollop rice was on target, and the chili sauce went very well with the meal here. So in Ghana, you know, great meal. We're at the Lemon Lounge, like I said, in Cape Coast. But the tilapia, grilled tilapia, and the jollof rice, great combination.
Yeah, they're supposed to actually have a mask.
I like this one.
Like a shirt, how are you?
Oh, Dr. Eric Williams, Prime Minister, first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, always Kwame Nkrumah. I love it. Oh, no problem. The last glimpse of their home. Yeah. And then heading off. It's a very unfortunate series of events for our ancestors. Just horrible. Not a very int.
It's a little bit slippery. I want to be the other side. Have you been given that guide?
No. No, are we supposed to have a guide?
Yeah, you're supposed to have a guide. They told you that when you are done, then you come back for them to give you a guide.
Yes, somebody sent us down to the over there. But okay, we'll head back up there.
So let me check if somebody's there. Okay. Your group is here.
Okay. Thank you.
In those days, when the slave ships come to the beach, the men in the dungeon, they were not moved out through the main entrance to the beach. They were moved through the tunnel in chains all the way to the beach where they are putting the ships before they are taken. In 1833, the British blocked the entrance to the tunnel. They blocked it to symbolize the end of slavery. When we continue out, I'll show you parts of the tunnel. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello.
Okay, so the male dungeon is the first place we've been. You haven't missed much. What we'll do is we will continue. I will bring you back
Okay.
to the male dungeon and explain everything.
No worries. Thank you.
We see a lot of greed. These are all here in remembrance to pay homage to the African captives who died and those who survived the forced journey across the Atlantic. So all to remember the ancestors. So this place, 1,000 men, they had a separate dungeon where they were keeping the women and children. We'll be going there. There were 2 punishment cells created. One punishment cell for the men. So the men in here who fight for their freedom, who try to escape, they were put in the punishment cell for the men. And there was also a punishment cell to hold the women who resisted rape by the governors and the traders. We'll have a look at these cells. And then we will walk out of what we call the door of no return, the exit to the slave ships. So let us continue out and let's see these other places. So I'm gonna bring
This
you.
one?
Don't worry.
Where the doors?
There were no doors.
No doors.
So they will move in between, only there is space.
Okay.
So this space alone, about 150, 200. Just this space. Yeah.
Rainwater will come in to wash away some of the silt moves into the sea. That's why you can see small catches of trenches coming through. So the first chamber in the main sea also known as the shito. These are stones. So it's like that is the smallest structure that was built. The point is that you try to fight it. Reaching back to the situation of the life of our experience of our organisms, the reporting of the cage.
Yep. Just nothing.
Yeah. Certainly even less with 200 people.
Wow. Just wow. The floor. That is mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing.
the Church Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, now the Anglican Church or the Church of England. So the church later changed to be a school for the mulattoes or the mixed race children. So at a point in time when they came, they intermarried with some of the Africans, they were raping some of them. The kids they had, they were the mulattoes. The small room in here was his wine room, where he kept some of his alcohol and other stuff. So you look around, we spent some few minutes at the counter area.
Governor's office. So when you said large, you meant really large. All of this is part of it?
Yes.
Oh, big!
Really, really large. Yeah. So the whole edifice is sit on a rock.
Wow.
Yes. And the rock is the date. So the indigenous, they carved samples of the stones
to take and put.
Draw the spirit from here to the town. So after they left and they gave the pastor to our house, when they brought the rock back, they spoke back the date.
Do you know what this?
The trench. So this is just like what we saw in the first inhumanity. And this is what channels over waste comes from the Europeans apartments. All these things basically will come. We're looking at that's the second fort, the white building, that's Fort William. The one we saw down there is Fort Victoria.
Okay.
So this one has its own communication up here. So similarly, when enemies are approaching, it is these people who are going to signal, and similarly they will signal them. So when they get the signal, that's when they will come to bring the weapons you are seeing. So in here is the cannon gun. The balls are called cannon balls. They take a cannon ball before they pound gunpowder in the cannon gun. They put the cannon ball in. There's a small hole in here. This is where they light the fire or the match. They shoot the approaching ships. The cannon balls, they have two types. One, there are holes within them. That one they put gunpowder in. When you shoot and it goes, it basically blasts the ships. And the ones without holes, it was meant to create holes in the ships so that basically they could sink. So all brought in by the British. Because of this, they were able to stay here for so long. They lived here for 296 years. 183 for slave trading and 113 for colonialism. All brought in by the British. This is over 200 years.
Now, is that church affiliated with this, or is just another?
This is the Anglican Church. This is the Anglican Church. This is the Methodist Church.
Okay.
And the one with the cross, that's the Catholic Church. To the middle. Yes,
okay.
That's the Catholic Church. So Methodist Church started at the foot. So in here, basically the living room for the gardener. So in here, basically we try to make a comparison of the windows. 9 windows in here, 5 to the bedroom, 2 to the front or to the corridor, making 16 windows. So down in the dungeons, we saw the number of holes that was serving as windows for the ancestors. If you had to put all the holes together, it wouldn't be even up to one window like this. But one man was up here enjoying while the others were down in the south. So you walk through the bedroom and you go to that.
So the governor lived for stayed here 1 month. This is the bedroom and the living room.
So working from this point, everything we are working on is original.
Yeah.
The tiles is called marble slate or marble tiles. The wood is called pitch pine wood. So all these were brought in by the British. We haven't changed anything in here. This is over 200 years old.
Wow.
Looking at where they are selling the crafts, so this side is the other side. During the period of the slave trade, here was the barracks for the soldiers. The building to the middle was their canteen. At a point in time, here changed to be a prison for Ghanaians. But Ghanaians agitated and mitigated. Why is it that the same place they enslaved our ancestors, the same place becomes a prison for Ghanaians? They fought really hard, they built a prison elsewhere. It was the first court system in Ghana. It is in this same place they drafted the bond of 1884, taken to the Palava Hall to be signed by Commander Hill and 8 other fancy or Akan chiefs, which led to the colonialism of Ghanaians for about 130 years. So everything in here has been restored. We continue the Palava. So in here is the Palava Hall. Palava comes from the Portuguese language, which means chaos, noise making, destruction, or talking. Basically because in the marketplace there are sort of noise in it. That's why the description behind it is the Palava Hall. So wherever they capture the slaves from, they bring them to this place and they visit the castle. This is the very first place they visit.
So the slaves were brought to this room?
Yes, to this very room. So this is the very first place the slaves will visit. European merchants are here with their nurses and doctors. They examine the slaves because they are trying to determine the commodity for the auction. So they examine them thereafter the auctioning goes on. So strong African men and women were exchanged for commodities such as mineral, gunpowder, tobacco, amongst others. After the auctioning has been made, they move them down to the forecourt. Down there they had to brand them because it was not only one company to identify the slaves. They needed to identify their various slaves. So they had branding metals or iron, initials of companies on them. They put it in fire for it to become very hot, put it in the oil, then they brand the slaves. So they were doing this just for easy identification, so that when the various slave ships come, each company will be able to identify their slaves and move them into their ships. So that was the purpose. It is in this same place they signed the bond of 1884. I made mention it was drafted in the court we came from, brought here to be signed by Commander Hill and 8 other politicians. Everything in here has been restored. The only original thing here is the black roof to the tip. Continue the podcast.
So, are these pictures?
Yes, there were exhibitions in here. There were exhibitions in here. Dungeons, when the Europeans visit or go in there to check up on them or feed them, most of them try to fight them. Those who try to fight them are a source of threat to them. So identify all of them. When it becomes rampant, they bring them here for them to be killed. So in here, no food, no air, no water. The slaves suffocate till they die. The bodies are brought out to serve as deterrent to some of the slaves who try to fight them. Thereafter, they load the bodies in sacks, add some of the cannonballs for the bodies to gain weight. They load the bodies off into the sea. No reflecting burial for them. So this Atlantic Ocean we see is known as the Mars grave because the number of Africans that were buried in here or they were thrown in here, we can't even count. So the Atlantic Ocean is known as the Mars grave for their ancestors. So this is the only surviving door in the castle. This door is made of pitch pine wood coated with metal. This door is over 200 years old. The only original door left. So you can have a feel. You go in and have an experience of the condensed. You watch your head while you come. I'll switch off the light for a while for us to have an experience out of this.
It's really stuffy in here.
It's, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So originally a storeroom, so you can see they blocked it. It was a storage room and they converted it. So in here, when they bring them in here, no food, no air, no water. They suffocate till they die. The bodies are taken out to serve as deterrent to the rest. 3 heavy doors in here. The very first one we saw, the second one to the middle, and the final one in here. No amount of air was going to penetrate into this place. So basically, they will suffocate, they starve, they die before the bodies are taken out. They have not been here up to 2 minutes already. You can feel the heat.
Yeah. When did they seal this area?
When this was converted from a storeroom to a jail.
Okay.
So we go out. I don't want to very hot.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
You watch it.
Yeah, I'm kind of short, so, but it's even low for me. Yeah, that's really stuffy.
From that place through to this place, they exit from the other point. That's where the females will join them. They go through the door of no return. So in here, neither a door nor an exit. In here, a soldier is stationed here just to keep an eye on the slaves or to command them to move faster. Another soldier down there to make a head count of the slaves. So through to the shrine, through to this place, they exit, they go through the door of no return. So
This is not.
no, this has been restored. Yeah. So basically in here, they try to restore. So when something gets spoiled in here, they try to make a replica of it and they replace it back. So they try to maintain the design.
Right, yeah.
Do you know how many?
This is about 18 feet. Just at the back of the castle, the water was coming in to distract activities. That's why the British blocked this point. They went to create a new door of no return to the other place. So the initial door of no return and the final blockade of the tunnel to mark the end of the slave trade. Continue the female punishment.
No, I'm not a Ghanaian.
So in here is a female punishment cell. When the Europeans were coming, they were not bringing their wives. When they have the desire to have any affair, they go into the female dungeons to select some of them for themselves. Those who resisted rape, they were brought in here. Females are held in here for about 7 days. In here, they were fed once. This hole was where they were easing themselves. There's a small hole here that was their only source of light and ventilation. Females who got pregnant, they take them into the town. They had burnt brick houses there. Nurses and doctors are there to examine them, take care of them till they give birth. When they give birth, after breastfeeding the kids for about 6 months to 2 years range, they take the kids from the females. After pregnancy, some of the females are still strong, some are weak. Weaker ones will be in the castle to serve as domestic slaves. Stronger ones thrown back into the dungeons to serve as commercial slaves. So in here, the female punishment cell. Check the females in the dungeon.
Is it? No.
So in here is a female slave dungeon. In here you have 2 chambers. This is the first one, the other one is your opposite. Each chamber takes about 100 to 150. So in total,
In this one room?
females, both chambers.
I think, well, 150 in this room.
Yes, 150 in this room. So it can be less, it can be more, depending on their rates they get out there or the number of slaves they will bring in. But automatically or originally it holds about 150 at a time. So in here, they were also doing everything in here. They urinate in here, they go to toilet, they sleep in here.
Do we have the same floor thing here?
Yes, so if these samples are to be tested, possibly to prove that it contains the DNA of the ancestors, because they were also doing everything in here.
But there's not even a trench. This is not a trench.
Yes, this is not a trench. So basically, they were doing everything in here. The men were fortunate enough to have a trench.
And this is the whole.
Yes, they are all source of light and ventilation. The flowers pay women to their souls because we believe that spirits still stays here.
Oh, there. Okay.
They are always source of light.
Yep.
So they have to be in here.
Wow.
Check the door off.
We have imperialism, we have caste system, just the political system.
Is this it? This is it.
Most importantly, being here and seeing
So that was the door of no return. So originally the door was very short and narrow, designed for one person at a time. Slaves in chains and shackles, they bend down their falls through the door. Africans who went through that door, they lost their roots, their identity, their culture, their fundamental human rights. Upon being moved through this door, when they were being placed on boats to be moved into the larger ships, most of them were throwing themselves or drowning themselves in the ocean. This is because where they were taken from, some had not seen the ocean before. Some also believed in reincarnation. That's why most of them were drowning themselves into the sea. When they get to the New World, they baptize and Christianize them. Africans taken in there, they lose all their names because they are given Christian names and they bear the surnames of the slave masters for easy identification. So Africans who went through this door never returned home. They lost their roots. That's why the description or the narrative behind this door is the door of no return. But originally I said the door was very short and narrow, changed to a larger door during the colonial period. Cape Coast or Gold Coast was the capital of Ghana during that period. So at a point in time, here was the seat of the governor or the British governor because of their trading and administrative purposes. That's why they changed it to a larger door. That's why now we have a large door here. So upon reaching here, the sea was all over this place. This is a sea defense and initiative from the government because the sea was coming into the town to distract activities. So after this sea defense, the sea receded. So originally the sea was all over this place. So when the slaves reach here, smaller boats like these ones are here to move them into the larger ships. Because of the weight of the bigger ships, they can't move closer to the shore. They dock far away. Smaller boats pack them into the larger ships. Through that process, that's when some of them were drowning themselves into the sea. Those that they managed to move them into the ships, from here they moved them to their various destinations. They moved to the Americas, the original 13 colonies. They go to Europe, back to Africa again. That's why they call it the triangular trade, with the Atlantic Ocean as the Middle Passage. So looking back, you can see Door of Return. So Door of Return, the narrative changed in the year 1998. The first ever emancipation is celebrated. Coming from the diaspora, those who came, they brought two remains or skeletons of the descendants of the ancestors they took from here. Samuel Carson from New York, Miss Crystal from Jamaica. Upon reaching a fort about 30-minute drive from here, they removed the remains from the car, they placed them on boats. This is because the belief is that when they were going, the Atlantic Ocean was the middle passage to the New World. If our ancestors are returning home, then they should use the sea as a passage back home. They placed them on boats, they paddled them to this place. Upon reaching here, they moved the bodies through this door. Moving the bodies through this door, that is when we believe the chains of the door of no return got broken. So up there, a befitting funeral ceremony for the ancestors, dubbed the Great Homecoming. Thereafter, they took them to Assin Manso, where the slaves were taking their last bath
today.
to be buried.
We were there earlier today.
So we saw their graves, right?
Yes.
Samuel Carson and Miss Crystal.
Yes.
So from there, that's when the narrative changed to Door of Return. Yeah. So
wow.
You're gonna take picture in here or we return?
Yeah, take.
Okay, so our look is it's not just a door, but a spiritual thing with the ancestors. Going through the door of whom we can come in. It is here to welcome us. That's why it is here. So today we conclude the talk from this point. We have come to see whatever injustice transpired.
George, thank you so much. That was enlightening and very much appreciated, Joey. Thank you. Alrighty, so we are finally back at our hotel. We're staying at the Ridge Royal Hotel in Cape Coast. But we went to see the Cape Coast Castle, which is a must-see as far as I am concerned, and really is a perspective changer in terms of what some of our ancestors had to go through while the British were here, and colonialism and the slave trade. It was just eye-altering. The comment I made was, even having seen Roots and read various books and stuff all the time, being in this place was a game changer. So you come into Ghana, put that on your list of things you just must see. So now, after a very tiring, it's very warm here day, rest up a little bit and get ready for dinner and probably hit the bed early. Alrighty, later. So after a little bit of rest, nothing too major, came down to the restaurant that in the Royal Hotel here where we are, Ridge Royal Hotel, and looked at their menu, and what do I see but gari foto, same thing we had for lunch yesterday that I really enjoyed. So I ordered that again and chomped into some of it here. The fish is prepared a little differently than the one I had yesterday, but it is just as tasty, and we're getting familiar with the shito that we had earlier at lunch today. And this red sauce that I'm not quite sure what it is, but maybe what the other fish was prepared in the first time I had the gari foto. But really tasty, good stuff.